All right, we're live. Welcome. It's been a day already for me. This has been happening a lot lately. And my mouth is dry. And I drank some iced tea. And now my mouth feels terrible. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. I'm not gonna let anything stop me today. Uh let me tell y'all about my day so far. So I realized through Twitter that PaizoCon is being held in Seattle. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I have to go as an up and coming content creator for, Paizo content. It's like No Nats is gonna be there, the Rule Lords might be there, or Rise of the Rule Lords might be there. There might, there's gonna be a lot of people. Well, it's like it's a small venue. It's gonna be like 500 people or whatever. And in actuality, they had a post recently that they had sold out of the tickets, and then even more recently, they they made another post saying, "Oh, well, we got some supplies limited." So, I mean, as far as I know, unless something goes wrong, I got the ticket. So I signed up and we'll be heading over there. And I'm going through, I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna need. And they're enforcing mask mandate stuff, and you also need to have proof of vaccination when you go, which is a problem for me because I lost my vaccination card like a while ago.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh my god, okay. So I call the place I got my shots at, and they're like, okay, yeah, just bring a photo ID and we'll go ahead and recreate that card for you. I was like, okay, cool. So I had to go and get that, and I got that now. And my trip is going to be a lot because I got to get going at like 5 in the morning. And I'll get at the convention center somewhere around like 8 o'clock. Something like that. Because I got to take the ferry, then I got to get driven down that way. Something, in that range. And then because my vehicle got stolen and demolished at the beginning of this year, I can't just drive there, which it would be easy. It'd be like an hour drive or something, but that's normal over here. That's funny. I never think about that anymore, but like an hour drive somewhere like that should be nearby is nuts.
Yeah,
But
that's just a regular thing we have to deal with in like the US. Just shit's so astronomically far apart cuz it's very big.
yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so I had to be there until like almost a little bit after 9 o'clock. And then I come home. I'll get home about midnight to wake up at 5 and do it again. So, it's going to be a very busy day. Hello, Brian Wells.
Hello.
And yeah, they're gonna provide all kinds of hand sanitizer at the place. I have my masks, so I'm gonna be good overall. Coincidentally we even bought like granola bars, like energy bars, just because we wanted something that was easy and quick to eat because Suzanne and I are very busy. And yeah, it's gonna be helpful going to the con.
Man, I really wish I could go too. I'm in the area. Like, I would love to just hop over and like attend PaizoCon, but like, unless it was gonna be like on a Monday, I can't go.
No, it's Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have you along, and then I'm gonna have to troll alone. But
Yeah,
it
that's
is what it
and
is.
also like I'd love to go, love to meet people in the space. If I'm going to be Pathfinder associated, might as well
Yeah.
also network, or at least tabletop adjacent as well. Because I don't plan to rope myself into pure Pathfinder stuff when I eventually actually get to work on fucking like my own content online. I want to talk to John Paizo so bad. I have so many good ideas for them.
Maybe it's a good thing you're not going.
They need to know all my good ideas. Yeah, it's I have some bad timing with like family events, so.
Yeah, and you'd have to cancel all your D&D games.
I'd have to cancel all of it and then have to do the fun move of, hey, what's up, Dad? I know it's your birthday and all, but I'm gonna cancel the trip we planned, and instead.
Oh, you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
go
over
to-
Saturday night though, right?
Yes, I am, and we have a thing Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you could technically still go Friday and Saturday.
I got my D&D stuff.
I mean, yeah, you'd have to cancel D&D stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
That would be the only thing I have I have to go. It's just
Yeah.
how it is.
True.
But if you get that urge to go and network, let me know. Because you can still make it for most of the important days of the con.
Yeah, no,
With
I mean,
no
if
other issues.
I don't know, for some reason I hear tomorrow that the game Saturday's canceled, maybe I might just head over really early.
Well, and that's if there's any badges remaining.
Yeah, exactly. There's a chance that I might not even be able to go anyways.
Well, I do believe they still have some badges. Let's see here. If I click this thing right now. Yeah, it says the product is available. So.
Jesus Christ, it's a chunk of change.
I saw it was $75.
That's a chunk of change.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sucks that it's only for, or it sucks that you can only get the 3-day pass.
Yeah, it's I have to go. I have
There's
to
no
pay for 3 days when I'd go for 1. Like that's a bit annoying. But oh,
well, like I said, you could go for 2.
I could.
You'd have to cancel 2 days of D&D.
Yeah.
But that'd be 2 days of possibly networking.
Ooh.
And I might get, because there's also going to be a lot of like organized play going on. Might get into a game with no nats.
Yo, that'd be pretty hype, actually.
Pretty hype. Pretty cool. And like I said, there's a bunch of other like content creators who are going as well as you know, some big people from Paizo. So that's kind of the that's what made it worth it for all the bullshit for me, is all that kind of stuff. And I know, actually, I think I can even hop on their Discord right now. Yeah, that's Celeste. She's been around a lot lately. I need to get her a kitty playmate, but
Yeah, I gotta do I'm gonna have an interesting situation soon where when some roommates move out, Ripley is gonna be the only cat in our house, and it could go either very good or very bad. Because it's equally likely either she gets like, you know, real sad, real depressed because cat friends are gone and she doesn't have someone to play with, and she gets way more hyper, On the other hand, knowing my cat, she also could be like hyped out of her fucking mind that there's no other cats in the house. Because she likes playing with them, but also is the cat that's like, get the fuck out of my face. Why are you like in front of me right now? Like that kind of cat. She's very dominant. So there's a shot she might just be really excited to have the house to herself. I certainly hope it's the case, because I'd rather not get another cat. I'll do it if like Ripley's actually getting really bad like health, like because of it. If her health is deteriorating, because sad cat, bad health.
Yeah.
So if that actually happens, I'll have to, just as a good owner.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of thing. I mean, I work from home, so I can be here, but she bothers me a lot because I'm the only one here she likes to interact with.
That's true.
And yeah, there's actually a good handful of creators who are going to be there. Rise of the Rule Lords will be there. William Tabletop Rolls will be there. No Nats is going to be there. There might even be a creator hangout in the works.
Be fun.
So yeah, it would be stupid of me for not to go. So
no, it is a smart business decision for you to attend.
Have you changed your mind now? Just let me know.
Oh yeah. If I do, I could probably swing for Saturday, if I can. Unlikely though.
I don't know if I'd pay $75 for one day. I could justify it for 2 days.
I could go for a day, and then I'd be paying $75 for one day, which is a hard sell.
That was pretty hard. Like I said, 2 days. 2 days would be the thing.
Yeah, I mean next I would love it if next PaizoCon's in Seattle, because then I'll like actually plan to go to it. Like I can schedule out time instead of like, oh shit, PaizoCon. Let me drop everything.
Worst part, yeah, it's actually like in SeaTac. Really?
God, that's so close.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, worst part for me, because it's not. I can't just take the ferry, like just be there, like I can
like
for
walk, yeah.
SoccerCon or anything like that.
Yeah, because they hold it at like that one convention center that's like 10 minutes from the ferry.
Yeah. No, this one, I could get there on the bus pretty easy. It would take me still like 2.5 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
sounds about
right. If only my car didn't get totaled,
yeah.
I would not be an issue. But yeah, I mean, this will be really my first chance to talk to a bunch of people in the field, really, as well, for like Pathfinder content creation. And like I said, No Nats will be there, and he's the biggest name on the docket.
To be honest, he's the only one I like have seen content from. I don't watch much Pathfinder content.
A lot of the other ones are like in like the sub 10,000 category. So I mean, it's not like I'm any different. But it'll be interesting. Like I said, there'll be a lot of live play stuff. There'll be a lot of there might even be like a content creator hangout. And I know they're doing some other fun events for the convention as well. Some announcements are going to be made, which is going to be super good, because then, get in on that early.
Oh, totally. If anything hype gets announced, I hope you send me a message.
I will do my best. This weekend's going to kind of be ass. Not going to lie, I'm going to be running on fumes for a good portion of it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
They do have the online badges, because they're doing PaizoCon online stuff as well. But that's just, mostly just you get stream access to whatever special streams are doing for the entirety of it.
Fair. Man, it'd be pretty cool for like set up some fucking collabs, dude.
Yeah,
Invite some
collabs.
creators onto Table Talk.
Yeah. I mean, that's, again, it's what I'm going to be working at. It's where I'm going to be, has Paizo sold out to D&D 5e? They have not. Don't worry. It's definitely going to be an interesting event for sure. And I just got to make sure that I go and make the most of it and do my best to make an impression. Excuse me.
Hell yeah, man.
It's going to be better than doing it on Twitter, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I hate
Good Lord.
that, like, a part of my job is just to keep my eye on Twitter to see if anything comes up that I can comment on so that my face gets seen. To be fair, a lot of stuff I comment on, I also get noticed by either the person I'm trying to get noticed by or someone else. So, had some chats with some people online and all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing okay, but it's just one of those things of like, you got saturation. You got to keep being there over and over and over.
Constantly fucking doing it.
Yeah, people got to recognize you. And then you gotta, like, oh my goodness. Trying to get into their Paizo event thing. Anyway, it's just all about being, engagements. It's just all about being there, being active, people noticing you. It's like, this is what being a content creator is like, right? And then it's like, we're doing okay. I had to remind myself that we're doing okay. We've gone from a channel with like less than 40 people at the beginning of, at the end of September last year to 740, and we'll probably be at over 1,000 by the 1 year mark, which is a lot from the ground up. But
True.
it has to get better. You know, like, I've been looking at a lot of like the statistics for other content creators and like the ones who matter and the ones who do anything actually, they get like 100 to 200 subs in a week. And right now I'm lucky to get about like 25. So it's I mean, again, that's why this event is really important. It's why it's important to be there, talk to people. I'm really good at talking to people in person. That is where I shine. This whole internet talking to people thing is definitely just not my strong suit. I'm terrible at it. I don't know why.
It's like just a whole other beast. I will mention at least, like, I don't open Twitter that much, or I see you every once in a while. Like, I see you just poking your head out, like, in Twitter field. Only last tweet I saw was you talking about how, like, that one dinosaur is your favorite. That was me, like, disagree.
Wait, you
pretty,
got
like,
beef
mid.
with the Ankylosaurus?
Kinda.
My dude, you're just factually
Kinda lame.
wrong.
No, there's better dinosaurs out there.
What's better than a fucking tank of a dinosaur?
The Carcharodontosaurus, because that dinosaur carried me through the hit video game Fossil Fighters.
I don't even know what you fucking just said to me.
Remember the era of DS games where there was just a bunch of games where you had to like dig shit out of the ground and turn it into a monster?
Yeah, when they released the blow feature for the
Yeah.
DS. Yeah, no,
The blow
but I did
away.
cool space dinosaurs.
Oh, with
no.
Spectrobes?
Spectrum!
Classic,
Fuck
my
yeah!
man! My man!
Yeah, fuck yeah.
uh, no, my favorite of them, because Spectrum's pretty hype, I will say, pretty cool.
Yeah,
Granted,
yeah.
I got it as like a gift from my uncle for like Christmas, and I was like, I don't know what this game is. I am a child.
I
But
am a child.
I didn't fully understand it. But Fossil Fighters was my fucking shit. That thing slaps so hard. Uh, Fossil Fighters is literally Spectrums but with dinosaurs, and they have like short names. And I always had it was Karchar in the because they shortened all the dino names, and
Mm-hmm.
then you grind to get the T Rex, who's like one of the most powerful. It's
Of
got
course
some
it
weird
is.
ass fucking lore. It goes around the end. It goes full like Earthbound with like, haha, fun romp through like adventures. Oh, the entire universe is in danger from a giant dinosaur god asteroid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, y'all at home, if you want a good fucking bop, listen to the BB Bandits theme. That shit slaps. The BB Bandits are essentially just Team Rocket, but they steal dinosaurs. But they have like one of the best themes ever. It is like whenever you see them on screen, you get so fucking excited because you get to listen to their jam while you're talking to them.
Man, World used to be simple.
Yeah, I used to just play DS games.
Just play DS, fun DS games where they invented like a blow feature where you can blow onto your DS to blow dirt off of things. And that was the
I
coolest thing ever.
God, I want to go back and play Spectrums now that I'll probably understand how the fuck that game works. I just didn't understand what was happening. It was like the problem.
I
It was
mean,
like
I was
complicated
older,
buttons.
so
Yeah, you know,
I got it.
I was a young lad, bright eyed, looking towards the future.
You know, it's funny, actually. My cousins had it at the time, or they had a copy of it. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, we got a new one because it started working. I was like, hey, can I see what's going on there? And so I went in and I opened the case up, cleaned it all up and everything. I got it to work. And they're like, oh, cool, you can just have that. And I was like, yes,
Yo.
nice.
I just opened up a gameplay video of Spectrobes, and I'm like, I remember not knowing what the fuck any of this meant. I was just there for the cool monsters. I somehow got really far in that game by just like dumb luck.
I mean, the games are idiot proof.
Yeah, no, it's
You just kind
like
of
for
just
children.
go along. But
I will say, Fossil Fighters actually like brutal. That game will kick your ass if you don't understand how it works. You have to like learn. There's a noob check in like chapter 4 or 5. I will say
noob check.
it is totally like you better have made a solid team, know how to upgrade your shit good, and like properly grinded, or else your progress is stopped. I know this because when I was that age, I was young. What I do is I'd play a game, and then if I got like stuck, I just restart the game and just play it
Yeah.
like that move. Yeah. So like I would just like I am a fucking speedrun god in the first 4 or 5 chapters of Fossil Fighters. That's a good game though. Fucking the DS like classic DS shit had like some absolute bangers. Like some of those games are so good.
It's just because they were innovative, you know. They were trying to break the mold. They were trying to reinvent handhelds, and sometimes it worked really well, and other times it didn't. But it was always interesting.
Yeah, like you know, I'll say Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, pretty good game. Gets too much shit. That's a fun
I
game.
never played it.
It's a fun one. That they gets a lot of flack. Also, people need to remember The World Ends With You was on DS. That's where it came out. That's a very good game.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, one of the best ports of Chrono Trigger.
True. But yeah, so that aside, that's always fun. That was a fun memory to go back to. I needed that today. I'm just tired.
Just listen to that theme, like, and you'll get more revitalized.
Mm-hmm. I just it's gonna be a fun weekend. Hopefully, I really want to make the most of it, and like who knows afterwards what will come out of what's going on at PaizoCon. There's all kinds of stuff. I am kind of excited because they haven't really gone too far into what they're actually talking about.
Nice. Fun little surprise.
There's going to be some reveals on Dark Archive, which is coming out. Let's see here. It looks like they're doing some Foundry stuff too, but we don't use Foundry. I'm sure for some people that's gonna be pretty hype though. Let's see here. Oh, they're gonna be taking a look at the Impossible Lands Adventure Pass. So they're coming up. Because the Impossible Lands are a section of the map where it's where the androids are found in and the like crazy the Black Sovereign, who's essentially like, imagine if Conan became a tyrant in a post-apocalyptic setting where like all kinds of tech scraps are found everywhere. That's kind of exactly what's up with it.
Seems like an interesting little lore bit. Also anything with like androids. I like android stuff in Pathfinder.
The android stuff is actually very interesting when it comes to Pathfinder itself specifically, because there's like Cassandra Lee and the fact that there's like an AI that's attained godhood, all kinds of stuff like that. Awesome. There's a lot of broken starships that you can delve into and fight, you know, creatures from other like dimensions and worlds and fight their high-tech stuff. You can get laser guns. It's all kind of really fun stuff there.
Love to hear that. Give me some good tech stuff. Make sure you pitch all of my really good firearm ideas to John Paizo.
Nope, you gotta be there first.
But like, it'll just speed the ball along. You know, it'll just be quicker and easier.
Nope. 2 reasons. It's dumb.
No.
And whatever might get you there, get you to go to the convention. So, you know, it's like,
fair.
I can't play my hand, you know. There's gonna be a bunch of other stuff as well. I mean, like, a good portion of it is talking world stuff. I think they're gonna be releasing some new Starfinder stuff too. A lot of Starfinder stuff hidden in throughout this. And then they always have like tabletop, like, oh, how to make aliens for your game, or here's some information about Galarian to make your games more interesting, stuff like that. There's gonna be some organized play, which, you know, hopefully I'll get a chance to participate in. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be fun. It's not as big of a convention as like I've gone to. Oh, cool! They're doing a Battle Zoo adventure.
Oh, actually, that's hype.
Roll for combats. Oh, okay. Roll for Combat is like the company that's been doing it. It's the one, I guess it's headed by Mark Safter, or however you pronounce his name, who's like the guy who helped write a bunch of stuff. Oh, the Impossible. Oh no, you might be right. The Impossible Lands. I might be thinking of the Broken Lands.
Uh, yeah, they got a place called the
Oh.
Broken Lands and the Impossible Lands. That's very
Impossible
similar.
Lands. It's very similar. Saw that set in there. Let me see here. Might have gotten me on that one. I have my world book here somewhere.
Impossible Land, little quote, I think it's from one of the books. In a land still scarred by a war between two undying archmages and their respective nations, reality defies the rules binding the rest of the world.
Yep.
Cities
okay.
crafted by wishes and fields harvested by the walking dead lay in between these lands, where magic warps and twists with an undefinable evil. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Dead Phoenix is right here. Ugh. It's yeah, Mark Satcher's he was like one of the lead designers when it came for Pathfinder Second Edition, and a lot of his algorithms made the game what it is today. So Battle Zoo is actually really good.
Fucking kudos to Mark over here for coming up with that 4 degrees of success thing. Like, that is a great system. Like, handling like critical fails, like success, critical success, phenomenal. That is an excellent decision, and I think makes Pathfinder how strong as it is, because having that like that variable level, because even failing isn't the worst. Like, it's still usually just it's less than success, but it's not as punishing as like D&D of, oh, you failed, sucks to be you. Normally it's like, oh, you failed, but here's something, you still get something.
Something still happens, yeah.
Yeah.
And I it's something that like it allows them to make where even failure effects still can benefit the game. It's just kind of better than D&D's kind of standard like save or suck kind of situations for a lot of their spells or cantrips.
Where it's like, yeah, good luck, you have to make a 50% chance like thing.
It's like, yes, I use Sacred Flame. The enemy got out of it again, huh? I do no damage. Like, at least in Pathfinder, you do half damage, which is something. But, it's just kind of one of those things where there's going to be a lot of really fun stuff, and they're doing a whole Battle Zoo adventure. I don't think Mark's going to be at this one. I think it says Linda Zayas Palmer, who I'm not 100% familiar with. But yeah, no, the Impossible Lands is also where the Mana Wastes are.
Oh,
and it's where Alkenstar is, which is like fantasy cowboys in tabletop. So they're gonna be doing some more stuff with that, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's also where Geb, the city of the undead, is. Or the nation of the undead, really. And they might even go into like Nex. Nex is very interesting, because Nex is like a super wizard society where they got all kinds of things. Like Nex, the dude himself assaulted Absalom, which is like the center of the world, the cradle, the New York of Galarian, you could call it.
The Baldur's Gate of Galarian.
And he was trying to attain godhood. He got there and he declined godhood for some reason. But he did get there. He did assault the city. And various, like Tar-Baphon, the Lich Lord, who like a lot of lore is about for Lost Omens and everything like that, like has attempted and failed to do the same thing.
Man just did it and was like, all right.
He's like, that's what being a god's about? Fuck it. And he left.
That's respectable.
And like his war citadel is still floating just on the outskirts outside of Absalom. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts how powerful he is. And like I said, Tarbafon, literally like the big Lich Lord dude, big like canonical villain, wasn't even able to attain as much. So
it's not cool enough.
So if they do more stuff with the Impossible Lands, I think they got a lot. Like I said, we still need to run our Mad Max style game in the Mana Wastes.
I need to play my Gunslinger.
But yeah, so if there's any secrets, I'm also gonna be doing a vlog for the chip, just because I feel like it'd be interesting, something to do. And if I'm gonna be just chilling and doing whatever anyway, I might as well be making content, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where the big thing is just hoping to sit down with other content creators and talk shop, and heck, even if it just gets my name out there, I like, that's all that really matters, you know. And it's crazy because like I said, like No Nats is gonna be there, and he's the number one, and he also looks like he's bored because he just arrived not too long ago. So like that's another thing as well, right? It's just it's a small convention. There's only gonna be 500 attendants, and there might not even be that many, you know, on a lot of the days. So it will be real easy to just be like, hey, yo, what's up? I'm the BLG.
You know me, up and coming, tackling every single archetype, easy as pie.
Yeah.
Easiest shit I've ever done in my life. By the way, tabletop. Because that, honestly, that would be, well, because that's the thing I'm the most closely involved with, at least at this current state in the channel.
Yeah.
But that'd be so much fun to either have a game or, like, do a stream with a, well, someone like No Nats. Because I like his personality. I've watched his content more.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool guy.
So, you know, and the channel might just explode out of nowhere, you know. Like, this is exciting because of the potential of what is going on. And even if it's just me getting to talk to someone like the Paizo reps and everything like that, and maybe we might start getting some content, you know, getting some stuff sent to us so that we can do like reviews on it and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really fun.
Be awesome.
And you know, I've been meaning to do more content, more different kinds of content for the channel. I feel like having an information channel is not bad, but that's not, I don't think, what I would even be best at. You know, like, I feel like I've been thinking about it lately. I want to make the channel like an NV channel where I want to make tabletop look like the coolest thing on the fucking planet. That's what I want to do. I want to make a channel that it's like people watch it and they're like, that's what tabletop can be, really, and get hyped for it. Because that's what like things like Critical Role, and that's what things like Dimension 20 really do, is they really play up like how hype it is to actually play things in tabletop and gets people, you know, excited out of their minds for it.
I can't wait for the Cameron effect to become a thing.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things where, like, and especially right now, the initial title for the stream is Paizo ever gonna beat D&D, or is Pathfinder ever gonna beat D&D? A lot of people forget Pathfinder beat D&D back in the days of 4.0, you know? Even 3.5, like, Pathfinder was ridiculously successful. That's how the company grew. Paizo, the big company, you know, they're big enough to run a convention. You know how much money it takes to run a convention?
Conventions are fucking money sinks. If you like that, you can so easily lose all your shit like running those.
And it's not a big profit thing. Yeah, they charge a bunch for tickets, $75 a ticket. But let's do the math here, right? 75 times 500. That's $37,500. That sounds like a good chunk of change for, you know, us who live on the bottom brackets of the economy. But for a big company like Paizo, that's nothing. They spend that much staffing the event probably, or like getting the venue and everything. Like, I guarantee most of that just goes to running the event.
Quite
And if they
possibly.
make a little profit over the top, it's just, it would be nothing of note, you know. Now, if you're talking something like SoccerCon or whatever, those events have so many people going that they probably make a profit despite renting one of the most expensive convention centers and several hotel lobbies in downtown Seattle. But, like, thousands of people go to those events.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a complete fucking like the amount of like consumer goodwill in marketing you generate from a giant convention like that is fucking indispensable. Like,
Yeah.
that's where a lot of that will come to break down. It's you get your customer to believe, regardless of if it's true or not. In Paizo's sense, I feel like it is true. You make the customer believe that the company actually gives a shit that you are a customer. You've immediately generated goodwill and persistent customers. I swear, it's like this is like one of the few things I have authority to speak on as someone who's been studying business and marketing in my like whole college career. I love marketing. I think it's really fun.
Well, and not only that, this is you know, marketing that you have the attendees help you pay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Conventions are pretty fun. Yeah, it's and the thing is like the fun thing about nerd like loyalty. Nerds have a lot of disposable income. They will buy your shit. It's the kind of thing of like nerd businesses make a good chunk of change because like man, for some reason all these nerds have that much money to just burn $400 like out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, they're gonna pay or tip well.
Yeah, and something like tabletop, especially, like, people breathe and live tabletop. Like, there's some hardcore tabletop nerds out there. Like, I love tabletop. I make a lot of my life centered around tabletop. There's people who put the way I do it to shame. They utterly exist to consume tabletop. It's nuts. It's crazy. And, you know, these kind of events are where you get to go and see other nerds who are as hyped about it as you are. And it builds community. It builds all kinds of stuff. Hopefully there's no issues. There's been a lot of guff about Pathfinder 1E and 2E stuff recently.
I mean, I doubt anyone's gonna make a scene.
I don't know about a scene, but that doesn't mean there won't be drama.
I mean, if it's gonna have like drama, like some fucking old hat new Pathfinder drama, it's probably just gonna be funny.
Well,
like,
one of the
kind of sad, honestly.
yeah, well, you would think so, right? Because one of the things that has been happening recently is there's a Pathfinder Paizo subreddit. that looks like that is like the official subreddit, and any content that's marked as Pathfinder 2E gets negative vote rated super heavily.
That's kind of pathetic.
It is. And let's see here. It was Deadly D8, I believe, who was talking about it. Actually, let's do it this way. Yeah. So it's Reddit Pathfinder _RPG. And it's like the biggest Pathfinder related subreddit. And when you go scrolling through the subreddit itself, it's all like 1E stuff, 1E stuff, 1E stuff. And they were saying that any 2E content that kind of gets put out there gets super mega down red bombed on it.
That's just weird. I don't understand giving that much of a shit. Like that's very strange behavior.
Well, it's brand loyalty. They have a version of the game they like much better than the newer version. And I mean, the people who are Pathfinder 1E like people are super like hardball about it. So many of them, they're like, oh yeah, Feet Finder, they call Pathfinder 2nd edition and all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, it's a legit thing. It gets pretty nasty. I don't know if these people would go to a PaizoCon because they're not releasing Pathfinder 1E content anymore.
I don't know why you'd pay a bunch of money to go to a thing you don't want to go to and see content.
Well,
it's strange.
There's people out there who love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there are people who will do it. It's fucking weird. Like, I mean, I'll say, like, I am in a very opinionated man. I have very strong opinions about a lot of stuff. Yeah, no. Like, for stuff like, if there's a movie I think is absolute dog shit, or a director that I think makes, like, some absolute garbage, I'll say my opinion, but I'm not, like, seeking out the fans of those things so I can shit on them. Like, I guess the fucking best way to put it is, like, the Marvel versus DC, like, movie shit. I think the DCU sucks ass. I think it was led by really, really poorly. Granted, I also don't think Marvel's, like, phenomenal either, but whatever. Like, I really hate Zack Snyder. I think his movies aren't very good. He does a lot of decisions that go against, like, my core, like, opinions of filmmaking and creative decisions I just really don't like. But I'm not going out finding Snyder fans to be like, you suck, you're bad, you like bad content. That's dumb. I'm just gonna quietly hate Zack Snyder.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, we bash on D&D 5e all the time here. We're both in 2 D&D. In fact, both of us. Well, actually, you are in more 5e games than you are even Pathfinder games right now.
Yep.
And that has been that case for a long time, actually.
Yep.
And for me, I'm breaking even. I got one game I'm in. I am running a game, though, so I guess I got a little bit more Pathfinder 2e in me. But, like, I'm in a game of D&D 5e. And, well, sometimes I get frustrated about it. I don't try to make that anyone else's problem but my own.
Yeah, 5e has problems, but I'm not going to, like, insult somebody for liking a thing I don't like.
And I tell people all the time, like, D&D 5e is great. It's got a lot of good things going for it.
I'd quicker introduce someone to D&D 5e than I would Pathfinder.
I think that's just kind of the thing. That's also like the thing, right, with Pathfinder as it's becoming bigger and bigger for Pathfinder 2E stuff, because Pathfinder 2E is also a little bit more like Pathfinder 2E is a lot more modern. It's a lot more like new player friendly than older editions are. And so the community is growing, and it's growing, and a bunch of people are kind of getting involved and interested. And now, if you're in the tabletop community, which it's like a secret world kind of situation, right? People don't understand how crazy the tabletop RPG community is. It's all over the place. It's because it's a lot of like tribalism, you know. There's a lot of people who are just like, my game's better. No, my game's better. Yelling at each other over whose dice rolling system is better. And
Yeah.
and it gets to the point where it just starts looking strange from any other perspective, because again, if you're not like as deep in the community as like I am, you don't see how much like crazy fandomness goes on in tabletop communities. You think people who get all upsetty spaghetti about how you play Undertale is bad.
Like, it's God fucking nerds. Why are like a good chunk of nerds just like insufferable?
Yeah,
Well, actually,
right.
that's any population of people.
Yeah.
So
Why are humans insufferable? That's a good question. Because we're very tribalistic, and literally living in a community sometimes just means being the biggest advocator for whatever tribe you're taking part in. People who love cheese just way too much are just like, why are you having any other garnishes with your dish? Cheese is obviously the best.
Which also, like, if someone ever said that to me, that'd be a very strange conversation. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Go away.
And Dev Phoenix, the thing you're not really looking at is the lack of options is what makes D&D 5 easy.
I will say, as someone who is in a game, because like because there's a pretty good scale, I'd say, and it's something I've been faced with and considered. I have like two camps of like friends. I have a bunch of friends who aren't like into tabletop or even like gaming a lot. I have like a lot of friends that just don't do that. If I were to introduce them to something, like I'd pick 5e because they could wrap their head around it. I am in games with like in 5e with players who for like playing it for like 2-3 years still don't understand 5e like at all. But then for us, it's like, yeah, Pathfinder. If I was like introducing a tabletop system to like say like to Cam, I'd be like, yeah, Pathfinder, because I know that we are more like we'll actually dig deeper into like the crunch of a thing than like an average person. Same thing with like when I was first dropped you guys into Warhammer, I gave y'all stuff to build in 1,000-point list because I understood. I know you guys are competent enough to wrap your head around creating a bigger game than making something really tiny and simple. Because I know your competency as a person getting into a new game because of how many new games we've gotten into together. It's a thing of there's an audience and it's knowing a person's like care. Because even if someone's like will get into it at some point, not everyone has the energy to like sink their teeth into it. We do. We all do. I can name a good handful of people that if I were like Pathfinder 2e, they'd be like, this is a lot. I'm freaking out. I don't like this.
Oh yeah, there's people who look at Pathfinder 2e. They get instant choice paralysis and they cannot make a character to save their life.
Yeah.
Honestly,
like if I was getting introduced to tabletop, I would probably like if I had to like both describe to me, do you want to get into 5e with all this or Pathfinder with all this? I'd be like, oh, Pathfinder, yeah, fuck yeah. Like hell yeah. I just had no one to get me into Pathfinder. But I had friends at the time too who I ran 5e for that I could not see running like doing any well in Pathfinder. just because that's different types of players.
Yeah, and like I understand the perspective.
Because that's my
Pathfinder
perspective
2,
too. Yeah,
yeah, Pathfinder 2e is easier than D&D 5e because the
100%.
rules are there. All the rules are there. And if you want to do something, you don't have to do a bunch of backflips to do it, right? But if you want to run the book without writing all the rules, D&D 5e is much easier.
Yeah, you can pick up Minds of Phandelver and just run Minds of Phandelver.
All you have to do is like, okay, what class do you want to play? All right, we pick this, okay, cool. And then as the DM, the rules are literally just set a difficulty, give the players advantage, disadvantage based on certain circumstances, and you're good, and you're done. It gets more difficult when you start adding more layers of complexity on top of it. It's just kind of like a hammer is a really good tool. It's a very simple tool. But you can't build a whole house with just a hammer. You can lay the foundation down, maybe. You can build a lot of the surrounding structure. Just hit the nail into the wood, Make sure the pieces are fitting well together. Like, that's all hammer territory. But once you start getting into plumbing, electric, all that kind of stuff, hammer doesn't do the job. It's kind of the same thing with tabletop. Is just like Pathfinder or D&D is really easy to get started. But once your knowledge of the system grows, you find that D&D 5e is a small little fishbowl, and there's just no room for anything that makes the game fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like its biggest strength is its biggest weakness. Is like it's so simple, but it's so simple.
Yep.
And like I would love I would like probably still be in the position I'm in currently if I got into Pathfinder. But, there's so many cool systems. They're all so dope. And like 5e is just like essentially a book telling you roll the d20, add a number, bada bing, bada boom, you're good. That's all like you need from that book.
And a super fascinating thing I've heard as well. For the super hard D&D 5e advocates, they like the lack of rules in 5e for advanced gameplay because it gives them a reason to actually implement their own rules and settings.
Oh yeah,
and
I've long
they're
said
like
that's the strength of D&D 5e. That is a major strength.
I definitely have heard the argument that Pathfinder is great because it's got a lot of customization, but D&D gives me just enough to get started, and I can do the rest by myself. The game is exactly how I want it to be because I designed it that way. Yeah. You can't do that in Pathfinder because so many rules restrict that same kind of freedom. So it's all kind of perspective, right?
I know a lot of DMs who have created like 5e to be themselves, like their own specific thing. It's like, yeah, you couldn't do that like in another game. And it's just how that be. You create like a massive sprawling world with like all this stuff, all these mechanics you made yourself. It's something unique that I think is the benefit of 5e. But then once like if you're playing just standard like 5e, you're like, oh man, the actual core rules are like real fucking simple and kind of boring.
Well, I mean, it's like Matt Mercer, right? Been playing D&D 5e now for quite a while, and he's made pretty much the world himself. Their game has so much homebrew rules. Like, it's not there. It's hard to see that they're even playing the same game sometimes with how much they've edited it. And then you take a complete like 180, right? And you look at Brandon Lee Mulligan's stuff, and he takes the whole idea of like, okay, I'll set a DC and you can try. And, like he may have some of his own homebrew stuff, but a lot of it is just the players just want to do stuff. I'm going to say, yes, but here's the challenge. And great things happen from crazy rolls being made.
Yeah, I remember there's a few points in like Dimension 20 where like they straight up like there's some rules that are broken or spells are used in weird
All the
ways.
time.
But
All the time.
I am like if I had to like compare myself to a DM, it would be him because like if you pitch me a really fun idea and I think it'd make a fun story moment, yeah, sure, fuck yeah, here you go. Because like the one I remember is using friends spell like the cantrip on an item to give to someone to charm them. That's not how the spell works, but it's essentially a roundabout way to do the same thing. So what's the harm? It doesn't do anything. It just lets the story progress. Saying no to that in the moment just impedes story progress. It's like there's no fucking point. And that's like what it feels like a lot is because like especially the show format, saying no to ideas like that, all that does is just make your story longer. And to what benefit?
Well, not only that, but your players feel less adventurous with it.
Yeah.
They don't ask you to do weird things anymore. They just, because I think that's a problem I have with some of my games is I'm very by the book. I am flexible enough to work with anyone, but I'm so by the book. I'm like, no, you can't do that. Sorry, it's not on the rules, And it's just because players will do whatever they can to twist the game in their favor. And yeah. I'm definitely of the camp of the game provides you enough. You got a question, I'll make it work. You want to do something a little weird, I'll make it work, but I'm going to take the rules into consideration first before we move forward. But when I DM for Adventures League, there are so many times I let players do weird things to do certain checks, mostly because I just boiled it down to, are they getting an advantage out of actually doing this? No? Okay, sure, we're gonna do it this way. Let me make a check for you to do something like that, because it's true. A lot of rules, a lot of weird things players want to do. It's just
yeah, true.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing too, right? I was watching an interview with him recently, and he's just like, I'm a pretty rulesy guy. I like the rules. I like playing the game how it's intended to be played, because I feel like there's a lot you can do with that. And there are some players out there who are just destined to destroy me because they just keep asking me for the weirdest things. I don't like to say no. It's like exactly what he said. And a good DM is one who's flexible, works with their players.
Mm-hmm. I take inspiration from him. He's when I was DMing. Also, just actually, if you just watch some podcast stuff or episodes, like interviews he's done, it's always super fascinating. He is like a really good mind for DMing. He did a really good episode of like a podcast I think he ran with Matthew Mercer where they're just comparing DM styles, talking about like where they came from. It's real cool. It's real cool DM talk. And I like the idea of what he does. Because also, specifically, I think a lot of people forget when they watch those shows, is like, at the end of the day, it's a fucking show. Like, they're not gonna... You shouldn't play D&D super accurate, like, in a show format, unless, like, the whole idea is, this is how you correctly play the game. Like, this is a demo. But, like, if the point of your show is, like, a Critical Role, a Dimension 20, a Adventure Zone, where you are telling an entertaining plot... You have to put the rules on on standby, because you're making a show, and the story is what matters. The characters are what matters, and that's the fun I think of Dimension 20, because it really feels like it is roleplay and jokes and like story beats first. Because I don't like a lot of rule crunch live play. I mean, I don't even like live play like a lot in general. It's not fully my cup of tea.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really into live play all that much either, if I'm being straight up honest. It's just because, well, one, most people do live play very poorly. Me included. A lot of my live play stuff is not the most exciting. I run live play on my channel predominantly to show how, for people who are interested, they can see how the games are going. And some people really do like live play. Like,
Yeah,
Those people are out there.
power to them.
Uh, and like it's just if I'm gonna talk about being a DM, I want people to see me DM. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want
I think it's
that representation.
I think it's a good like method to have of like back up what you're talking about with like video proof.
And recently, the vampire game, someone got on in the comments and was talking about like, I'm so glad you did this this one shot with vampire. I've been so interested in getting into it, but you know, I just haven't been sure. And seeing this gave me a really good frame of reference for how the game is run.
Hell yeah!
And it's
that's the mission.
That was exactly what we were trying to do. You know.
Yeah.
It's
love to hear that.
It's one of those things where it's all about like providing just enough content to get like the channel we have here is super varied compared to other tabletop channels too. You go to like Nonad's channel or whatever, right? There's no podcasts on Nonad's channel. He has some gameplay of like him playing various Pathfinder related games. And sometimes he goes a little bit off topic, but he doesn't have any live play on his channel whatsoever. He doesn't have a podcast or anything to listen to, all that kind of stuff. He doesn't even really try new games all that often. Instead, what he tries to sell is himself, more or less.
Yeah, fair.
Kind of his style. And, you know, it works. Again, nothing I can say that Nonats doesn't do well at what he's doing, because you know, you look at his video content and recently he's been showing up on other channels and talking about like D&D versus Pathfinder a lot recently. He played some Slay the Spire the other day. Wait, some quick Slay the Spire, but it was a Pathfinder video? I don't know. That's really weird. It looks like he was playing the Wrath of Righteous DLC. I think he got his thumbnails mixed up, but no, because when you highlight the video, it shows Wrath of Righteous stuff. Weird. Then he's talking about Pathfinder content, book impressions, what class should you play, you know, Pathfinder, like he does a lot of Pathfinder content. He also has his own book that he's coming out with now, Sinclair's Library. And you know, but he does like a lot of very standardly the same content with a little bit of spice mixed in, you know, to work. And again, like I said, he sells himself more than he sells anything else. And that's what really works for him, and it works very, very well. This channel, we have a mix of information content. We have a mix of community, you know, back and forth with our table talk. We have a mix of trying out new games. We have a mix of live play for people who are interested in that. And
selling personality for the adoring Glue Boy fans that talk up all the time in the Discord.
Yes.
My screaming fan base.
Your screaming fan base. Wait, Alex, it will happen one day.
I will be conflicted as fuck.
You keep this up. You keep being that lovable rapscallion we all know.
Lovable rapscallion. Oh, me.
I'm sorry, but that's the only way I could properly define you. And I don't think that's inaccurate.
Fair enough, I guess. Such a lovable scamp, you know. A rabble rouser such as myself. It's offensive, Slug. It's very offensive.
I've never heard of this man. Such a radical dude.
Yeah, whoa, radical.
Yeah.
God, I'll be so actually like conflicted once we get like a big fan base, and people are like, "Ah, yes, that Glue Boy guy." I'm gonna go, "Oh, uh-oh." It'll both be like, hell yeah, people listen to me. On the other hand, it'll be, oh, people listen to me. Yeah, my cat's more famous than I. I'm fine with that.
If only that were the case. But yeah, no, you keep hanging around, and you're gonna actually get fans.
Yeah, probably.
So, you know, it's just one of those things of like, it's hard to create content in general, right? And honestly, a lot of the content that does the best is also the content where they're selling the content creator more than anything.
Yeah, that's true. Which, speaking of creating content, can we please do the Warhammer RPG this month, please? I've been begging on my knees for Wrath and Glory. More imploring to the audience. I'm imploring to the audience more than you, Cam, because, you know, unless you're gonna rig the vote, wink, wink. Just like rig the vote real quick, wink. No, I'm not gonna run it.
Are you gonna be the one running it? Yeah. That stopped you in your tracks real fast.
No, I'm not gonna run it. Cam's gonna run it, but I want to like play in that system.
I want to be there.
I want to be there. I want to promote more Warhammer people coming in. We got a lot of Warhammer people, but we can always have more, you know? I love excuses to talk about this universe that I've invested a lot of my time and money into. I gotta justify my purchases, you know? That'd be so fucking mean. Yeah, if Cam pulled a funny little prank and ran Wrath and Glory and specifically banned me from playing in the system, I'd be very upset with him.
That would be hilarious.
It'd be very funny, but I'd be so mad.
Hilarious.
I would be actually like upset. It would be funny though.
But yeah, we'll see. I think Blades in the Dark might be the next one. I gotta come up with some games that are not bangers so that those two games can finally get off the list.
Let's see. What tabletop systems suck?
Oh, that list is way too long.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of good options. I'm gonna type in worst tabletop systems. It's like we gotta throw a bad one in there. Here we go. No, we're not doing Fatal. Those who know, know. Shit, I typed it in. The first things are the racist and like weird sex one. Ugh. Let's see.
I'm like desperately trying to. I got the Game Pass so I could try getting No Man's Sky for $1.
Don't fucking don't say that you'd vote Fatal over Warhammer. That is some oh god. The only thing I can think to say is heresy, but I fucking hate that meme in Warhammer, so I don't want to endorse that.
There it goes. All right. Downloading No Man's Sky and have it on the Game Pass.
We could do the Adventures of Indiana Jones role-playing game.
I mean, like, there's so many. I can't wait until Disastrous Sword Lesbians makes the list. Yeah, that was another one that caught my attention for sure. Like there's gonna be a lot of games on there. I gotta find some games that are like not obviously dead picks, but like kind of dead picks. So we can get Blades in the Dark and Warhammer off the list finally. I feel so bad because I know, like Vale really wants to play Blades in the Dark. You really want to play Warhammer, and yet every time it's just like a system comes onto the list that just dominates the field. And the worst part is, Warhammer and Blades in the Dark both get really close.
Yeah, there are people like out there fighting tooth and nail for both. I honestly, I'm super down to do either because both look really fun, like actual systems. And I've heard nothing but things about Blades in the Dark. I think it sounds like a really cool system, and everything I've heard described about it. But like, I mean, my bias is like I want to play Warhammer like earlier because I love me some Warhammer.
We'll see. I'm still composing the lists from last time, and I'll try again. I'll try to put some lame horses in this race, just so we can get those off the list, and hopefully get some fresh new ideas.
Is this essentially just tabletop gerrymandering? Is that what you're doing?
A little bit. But it's okay because people want these games still anyway, so I'm still giving people what they want.
Fucking excuse me about Fireborn?
You play two characters, one as a modern day human and one as yourself back when you were a dragon.
What?
Nah, I like the
Publish my fantasy
current.
flight.
I like the current metric. I like that having 4 games. Also lets me know what games people are interested in when they appear on the list.
The Call of Cthulhu one is a pretty good pick. Like, keeping that's not a bad thing.
That one already came off the first list.
You know what you could do? You could say you could do Blades in the Dark, Warhammer Wrath and Glory, Call of Cthulhu, and Warhammer Dark Heresy.
Nah, it can't be 2 Warhammer games.
I mean, why?
Why? Because I want to provide spice and variety.
Spice for no.
No.
Appease your
Why?
co-host.
I don't do spice.
You know what? You know how white I am, Cam? Spice. What you put in this pepper?
You know.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Actually, legit recommendation. You could always do the Star Wars Edge of the Empire or like system.
Yeah, I feel like that one will end up winning.
Probably, no, probably. I will say, Star Wars Edge of the Empire, that Fantasy Flight like system, fucking slaps. Like really good. They're so much fun to play.
They're good. Yeah,
They're really good.
I think it would be fun to look into as well. Just, oh no, maybe I'll do like Song of Fire and Ice.
Oh, that'd be hype.
Put that one on the list. Song of Fire and Ice and Numeria. There we go. 13th Age I've looked at many times.
What's like the key differential? Because it does sound like a fantasy RPG. Like what's that
It's just
apart?
fantasy RPG. That's it.
Oh, fair enough.
I haven't really looked too much. I've seen it multiple times. I picked the book up and looked into it multiple times, but I think it's mostly just the same high fantasy D&D style kind of game. You want me to crush Booter's hopes and dreams, Slug? Is that what you're telling me? Mutants and Masterminds is fun. That's a game that you can really break real fast, though.
You could do the Dishonored one.
The Dishonored GURPS game.
The Dishonored tabletop game. Or the which one? The Alien one.
The Alien one.
Yeah, there's one for set in Alien. Yeah, it's the book is it's sponsored by Modifius Entertainment. It's 300 like book. It's got some cool shit. Some fun, it's fun classes. It's very like, you know, it's the aesthetic of Dishonored is properly like hit in there. Oh yeah, I forgot they fucking did that.
Yep.
It's really dumb.
That was really dumb.
Weird.
Why would you ever go to a stream and not have the audio on?
Like of all things.
Like of all things. It should be the only thing you have on, especially a podcast.
Yeah. It's fucking Twitch.
Twitch is doing some funky stuff.
Twitch has been
doing some real funky stuff. I wonder if the exclusivity thing is gone now.
Yeah, just run a podcast stream where no one's listening. Hype. Yeah, it's like Twitch is making the dumbest fucking business decisions I've ever seen, and YouTube is like 5 years like behind. They've only recently added gift subs.
Yeah,
it's really dumb. Or they make rating another person's stream fucking overly complicated.
But YouTube is picking up pace real
They're
fast.
doing it. They just need to actually work and get streamers to help them. Yeah, just talk. I'm here for the chat room, not the stream.
Yeah, it's not in yet, but yeah, because there's been content creators coming over to YouTube, and a lot of people are moving on to YouTube, and I'm here to say things to chat, not the streamers. You know, there's people like that though, isn't it? It's not weird. There's people who are just there to live in the chat.
I'm as an eternal like live stream lurker. I can't relate.
This is my platform, not the streamers. You're wrong. We can type there too. It all belongs to us. Content creation is such a bizarre field.
It really is.
It's a field that, like, right, your closest competition is the people who do the similar kind of content as you. But then when you start expanding your scope, you're realizing that if you're vying for hours from people, you're also vying hours from people who do content very differently from you. People who do, you know, like I'm in pseudo competition with like 2 or 3D model characters doing things PG to R-rated. Like when you can say I'm in competition with a scantily clad squirrel. That's what being a content creator is like. It's like I'm in direct competition with a man who screams at ingredients.
That one I don't get.
You've never seen the guy who like makes food and just screams at it and like bashes it with his hands or whatever?
How to Basic?
I think so.
You can't top How to Basic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
How to Basic's a fucking god. God amongst men.
But that's the thing, right? It's like we're in the same kind of space. We're vying for people's attention in a day. And like competition is putting it a little too favorably in my light. But you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where when you're a content creator, you're just looking at all kinds of stuff and you're just like, do I want to get a pink morph suit? Would that actually improve my content quality? Works for some people.
Go full pay money wubby and just wear a giant green screen suit while like on stream. So that way your green screen behind you is more of the screen. It's just your face.
Yep. Yep. I'm in competition with an anime girl and a musclehead who screams at video games. I'm also in competition with flat earthers.
True.
And conspiracy theorists. It's like it's such a weird thing. And again, competition's putting it a little bit too nicely. There's no real competition. People who watch my content probably don't even watch half of this stuff anyway, like other kinds of content. Most of the people who watch my stuff are people who get a little too sweaty playing tabletop games. That's most of what my content is geared towards. But I kind of, like, that's the thing, right? So how do you expand your market? How do you expand while still keeping the core of what you do? I think channels like Markiplier are a really good example of like how you can expand while still keeping some of the core concepts of what you do. Because In Space with Markiplier is nothing like Mark's main content flow. I mean, that's
probably
fair. That's probably pretty fair.
Probably.
When I first started streaming, there was a lot of talk of me putting on a wig and dressing up for stream, and I refuse.
I do gotta say, the only time in my life I ever feel like an absolute fucking boomer is when these people, like my friends, my close friends, decide to describe VTuber shit to me. It's the only time I'm like, I feel like an actual boomer.
Oh,
like, what
my
the
goodness.
fuck are you talking about?
No idea, my friend. There's so much all the time. I'm just sitting here like, okay, how do I get in with the kids? How do I get in with the people? And then they come out with the dumbest bullshit, and it's like, what do I do? How am I we're not even playing the same game. It's like, I don't even know. It's like, first of all, my vernacular is all over the place, right? Because you gotta pick up different words to say different things, or different sayings like good soup.
I mean, that was kind of
same hat.
Same hat is good.
Same hat's a good one. I would say I like that one a lot. Or, oh god, what's some other stuff? There's too much. There's so much that even people in their mid-20s are like, oh, what's going on the internet?
I just kind of like, I'm pretty sure that not many people, like, because I hear it in like our friend group, where my stock response to things is like calling things sick, dope, or hype. I don't really hear that too much online, but
no.
I also like that our chat is now being spammed with what I assume are all VTuber stuff. Because I do know Takahata is a VTuber now, but I know him through Dragon Ball Bridge.
And this is a preview, right? Once we get more popular, these kind of emote spamming kind of people will start appearing out of nowhere.
It'll be fun. It'll
be fun. I like emote spammers too.
Fun. It's like the fun part of Twitch culture.
But
like, YouTube doesn't have that, sadly.
No, they don't, sadly. That's why I'm excited. I really do hope that they open up the exclusivity stuff for Twitch. Yeah. I would like to get back on Twitch and do more Twitch stuff. Have more sub stuff or more dono stuff. All that kind of stuff.
Because, like, the thing that Twitch got is a really solid culture and a few implements that are just really smart. I will say, currently, Ludwig is working on he's actually started with this company a extension for YouTube streamers to actually have Twitch, like, style stuff, like a functioning chat, emotes, like all that stuff into YouTube. And it's just a Chrome extension. Apparently, it's already pretty cool, but he's setting it up so, like, because goddamn YouTube is real rough.
Yeah. It's rough for now. YouTube's got a lot to work with. They got a lot to work on. They're still barely running their own platform at this point. But, it's one of those things where it's like, but they're catching up slowly but surely. It's like the Pepe Le Pew kind of effect, where just slowly, it's just coming around the corner. No matter what Twitch does, all YouTube needs to do is just add a lot more, like, things like emotes, things like dono things. And the thing is streaming platforms as well, like OBS and other programs that allow you to stream are making up some of that space as well, for like if someone donates to a certain link you have maybe in your description or whatever, you can have effects appear on screen and all that kind of stuff,
which is always fun.
I mean, when you see like sometimes the very loud thing in the center of my screen with the zombie running man, like that's not a YouTube thing, that's not even a Twitch thing, that's purely through like apps and everything like that, plugins.
Yeah, the fucking Peepo emotes. Peepo happy, Peepo sad.
So, it's just like, eventually, the chats will get bigger, like more people will come by, especially if I can manage to make tabletop cool, right? Like more cool than Critical Role kind of cool. More like cool for everyone kind of cool. Not just, oh, look at these celebrities playing tabletop. But kind of like Dice Check. Dice Check made me actually want to get invested more in Warhammer, just because they made it seem really fun to go out and set everything up, build a table, all that kind of stuff, for the content they do. And they make playing Warhammer sound really fun.
Yep.
Because they have a lot of fun doing it.
They got the good way to do it of, it's not sweaty. It's fun. It's people in a room fucking around. I mean, even for like tournament shit, like some of them are just actually drinking, like on camera, just getting drunk mid-game.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's pretty cool. I've done that. I might have drank, or at least gotten drunk in between a little break, and then came back to a Warhammer game.
Yeah,
it's fun. That's what matters.
And that's just kind of what I want to do with tabletop, right? I want to have super fun, not sweaty tabletop. We all go and do random crazy things. Just have fun actually playing tabletop. Because I think that's also a big problem with tabletop. And I know it's a problem I suffer with. A lot of people want to take tabletop way too seriously. Myself included, because you want to tell those epics. You want to have those epic storylines, and you want to feel like your story is very impactful and very emotional or whatever, right? But the Adventure Zone, was just them having fun with tabletop, and then it turned into something more serious. And that's, I think, how tabletop has to be, is it's just gotta be fun and games and silliness until things get serious, and then it's gripping and it's narrative and all that kind of stuff. And just finding that blend, because like I'm not looking for drama nerd fun tabletop, you know what I mean? Like the Brandon Lee Mulligan style of tabletop, where all the people are just there, they're animated, they're talking. It's great content, don't get me wrong, but it looks almost artificial sometimes with how some of the people act, just because they get so out there.
All a bunch of just improv comics from like California,
or
wherever they're based in. I know they did some it's like UCB theater. That's like all of them, because they're the old College Humor crew, and College Humor got fucking murdered.
Yep. I would like to make content that's more like, imagine if Dice Check was done tabletop style, where everyone is kind of just having fun. It's mostly out of character stuff, but then they like get into character and just be silly or have fun with it or whatever. And they make, it's like they go in and they have fun. Like, I'm gonna run up to this guy and I'm gonna give him a fucking pile driver, you know. And then they throw the dice and they're like, two. And you know, it's that kind of stuff of just like people having fun, just taking the game super not serious and having all kinds of fun. What do you mean you and all your players aren't experience improv comics?
Yeah, a little known fact about me. I am an absolute like improv comic at my college. I kill it. God, no, I could fucking never. I could never stand up and do actual improv comedy. It feels real weird.
I think that's just what I need to do. I think after I'm done with Riptide, I'll probably, my next live play will be super casual tabletop stuff.
Fair.
Like, just come in, have fun. If the narrative happens, the narrative happens. It's kind of the GM's job anyway to be the only serious one at the table. And players love that shit. Yeah, players love watching the DM scramble to make sense of their nonsense.
It's really funny whenever it happens in Dimension 20. Like, it's so funny whenever he has to like, well, fuck. It's always like the funniest shit.
Yeah.
Like I love the story behind the Escape from Bloodkeep, which is my favorite campaign they ever put on. There's so many parts in just episode 1 where it's like, especially on the end, where he had to completely pivot the story because of the player's actions.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh shit, okay, well, this changed. And so then the ending is completely different of what he intended because like the player's actions.
Yeah.
God, also that is like there's some moments in there that fucking kill me in the Escape from Bloodkeep. I love the Crown Maker. I love the Crown Maker character. He's my favorite. And John the Eagle. Yeah,
John the Eagle. I just got done with the big fight in the Caldera.
The first one, like episode 1?
No. It's like episode 2.
Okay.
I think. Where they fight all the Lord of the Rings spoof characters.
Yeah, that's it. And fucking Matthew Mercer can't kill the Samwise Gamgee. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So Matt's character is great.
He's so good.
Super
his character's
funny.
So funny. By the way, one fun little detail. Samwise character has the stats of a storm giant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because he thought like, oh, they're never gonna touch them, and then they like actually fought that character, and he was like, shit. All right. And then the joke is that they're the most powerful thing in the room.
Yeah.
But they have a weapon that just doesn't deal like they can hit consistently, but it's not like doing a lot of damage. Just a frying pan.
Yep. It's super funny. The whole like, if I could just make tabletop in general just something where people feel like they can go chill at their friend's place, maybe grab a few beers and just have fun doing tabletop, I think that's good, because I know we can also it can be like that Adventure Zone kind of content where it's like it's that same kind of content until it gets serious, and then you can have some super big moments, you know. And
there's some fucking killer moments in Adventure Zone in between the really funny improv.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? I think that's how to make tabletop more appealing to everyone, is make it where it's not you're watching someone play D&D for 4 hours. Make it where it's like they're watching a cartoon for 4 hours, where all the characters are just doing really stupid, funny stuff all the time. Like, I gotta say, some of Arcadum's games were super funny because of how some like Donkey, how Donkey played, you know, his character.
Yeah.
And so many of their characters were really funny, and some of those were very interesting to watch because the players were just just having fun with it. I think that's why Arcanum's content was so good. And to be fair, it's the kind of tabletop I find kind of cringe sometimes, though, right? Because I do like a gripping narrative. I do like a very intense storyline. And when someone comes at me with the Goker, which is the lizard Joker.
It's a character that like only Donkey could pull off, though.
Right.
Because who Donkey is.
But like, I like when the game gets taken seriously at the same time. But that's not how the internet works. You know what the internet wants? Memes. Memes all the time. Just straight meme content.
It's the problem of like the best live play. Like if you look at the top 3, it's the kind of deal where it's just like I mentioned, it's you if you want to make a solid live play production, you have to treat it like a production. You can't treat it like this is a game we're playing. You still can play the game, have fun, but at the end of the day, you are making a show that the whole point of the show is to have a story with characters. Where like that's why just the stuff of you're playing the game wrong always annoys me so much in like people complaining about those 3 like live play things, because it's so fucking like obvious. Where it's like on the one hand, yeah, they're not like pre-scripted or anything, because that's they're not scripted. But like at the end of the day, they have to wave their hand on things, because like it's the same thing I mentioned of like a player comes up with a thing, they want to do the thing to solve a problem, and in your head you have a time slot that you have to fill, and it's like, okay, what if I say yes here? I can move the story along in an interesting way, give the player a morale boost, people that are watching be like, haha, that was funny. If I say no, I make the story longer. And people are like, oh shame. But like all you've done is extend your time slot when that could be used on funnier moments to make them longer, drawn out, add more stuff, like extra roleplay moment. It's that thing. You have to sidebar rules. You can still have that be an aspect, but the story is what matters. And that's the thing I think people miss in live play content.
Yeah. And when life gets a little bit more settled, I think I also just want to do a lot more like in-person kind of tabletop stuff.
Yeah, it's something special about it.
Well, especially from a production value, you can do a lot more things. Like, Dice Check is funny because sometimes someone takes a camera and runs up and does something goofy with it, They run up, they check the dice tray, they run up, they're like, look at this funny guy, look at how he's painted. He looks like a complete doofus, and all that kind of stuff. Keeps it, excited. And not only that, but I think people just want to see that ideal situation of, oh, this is what it'd be like if all my friends got together and we've all played tabletop at the same place.
Living vicariously.
And that's I think that's my current channel goal is I want to get to the point where we're doing a lot more like in-person stuff, or at the very least I want to show tabletop in settings where people can jump into the player's shoes, and all that kind of stuff. I like to get like multiple cameras, people's faces, get some angles, and then just tell the players like, all right, guys, I'm going to take the burden of trying to manage everything. I want y'all to just cut loose. If you got an idea, throw it my way, and I will keep it as concise and rule appropriate as possible, but I'm also never going to say no.
Fucking dream. Oh my god. If I can just like work with you on making like that a reality, I'd be so happy.
Yeah, that's I think if we're gonna make this channel blow up and become something like yeah, I do miss the time when Dimension Showing was all live play with minis.
God, his miniature work is fucking killer though. Like, oh my god. Like, it was impressive. Like the Dimension 20 like diorama shit. Like, holy fuck.
And I don't know. I mean, I think I might also want to do kind of like what he does, which is it's not live play content, it's edited play content. I think that would be good. I think it doesn't have to be actual live play to be interesting.
Oh yeah, because Dimension 20 is fucking edited. That shit's trimmed.
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
trimmed
obvious.
up. It's made interesting. Helps when you have an entire production team. Yeah, and that's the thing is like we don't and we won't for a while, but maybe one day, and it doesn't have to be anything major. If it's just something of we have a camera, and then I'm like, okay, cool, let's do this, and I pull my phone out and I film them, like with my phone, face close up of their face or whatever, as they're talking about it, of the mini, and we just get bombastic, get in there, get players doing all kinds of crazy things, and then maybe throw some weird skits in there. Maybe the entire player, like all the players are sitting around the table, and then I'm just suddenly like, and now you have to get past the gatekeeper, but players, there's a catch. You have to do it in real life. And then we pan over to like a hallway where someone steps out in a costume with like a fake flail or whatever. And we just show everyone just running in and beating up this person in a costume, like
Mr. Beast of tabletop.
Just all kinds of just making it look fun, making it look cool, and not only that, but making it really memeable, because that's not actual tabletop. No matter what situation you're in, something like that never happens in tabletop. But if you make it look like that's something that happens at your tabletop, at least the kids go wild and they're like, oh my god, don't you remember when that happened, when they did that skit or whatever, and they'll get hyped about it because it's silly and it's dumb, and people cling to that too. It's just like, it's like what made God, the guy with the pink morph suit,
Filthy Frank.
So what made him super popular, which is how memeable his content was.
God, yeah. Lucky you got a good friend that is specifically trained in producing this stuff.
Yeah, right? I'm using what's at my disposal.
Yeah.
Because I'm passionate, right? I like talking about this. We have these table talks, and I'm very animated during these table talks. But I'm not a person who normally is like super into it when it comes to like actually playing tabletop games, because I'm serious. I want to play it, tell a really good story or whatever. But we can just have some meme content where we're playing a tabletop game and we're just having fun with it. We're cutting loose. We're making all the rule lawyers, all the hardcore sweaty tabletop players angry on the internet at the same time. It's just like, it's a win-win.
Honestly, we get to the point where we can do that, where we have our shows of like, haha, here's the fun, goofy shit, and then we just have a secret, our own game that's really serious and depressing. We'll cry. What we gotta do? Just have one secret serious one as the palate cleanser.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is right, you can do both. You can even have both as content. Variety is the spice of life. People like different types of content. You can have one video, one video that's just full live play content you do with everyone, and then you have your super production one where you only actually play for like 2 hours or whatever, but you're doing so many extra skits on everything that it's like a 3-4 hour endeavor. And then you just make tabletop look as fun as people want it to be, I guess. And I think that's also another part as well. I think representing tabletop in a style that this is how tabletop feels, and you're playing it in a way that it's not how it's played, but it's to represent how it like feels for the players, like how exciting it is, or all that kind of stuff. Like, honestly, we just need to get, like I said, like I just need a cast of like 6 people, I think.
Yeah.
6 people and 6 people and 6 people who are not afraid to cut loose and just get weird with it. And that's XP to level 3. Exactly like XP to level 3's content with some of the skits he does. Like, mixing that with actually playing tabletop in a sense. Like, making people just really excited, cutting it up. It would be a lot of work. But imagine it's kind of like a dice check thing, right? You just get so... You get the ball rolling so much that you can afford to have, like, a studio, or you can afford to have, like, all these kind of props kind of come in. And you just make a production of something really silly of the game that you really, really enjoy.
That'd be awesome.
And that's, I think, my dream. I think if we can accomplish that, we'd be set.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, if things go well, I might even take a loan out, a business loan later for, like, that kind of stuff to get the ball rolling. And I might not be able to pay everyone, like, right away. But if we can produce that kind of content regularly, I think the channel would, in fact, blow up. I think it would be a smash hit on tabletop stuff, because it would be the parts of, like, the Brandon Lee Mulligan, you know, Dimension 20 style, with the quirkiness of the Adventure Zone, with the showiness of like maybe like Critical Role, or like, you know, Dice Check or whatever. Just all those things kind of wrapped into one kind of experience. And the great thing about that is you can film those, like, you could just dedicate 1 week and just do like a session every day like that, and then you can take the rest of the month off, you know.
Yeah, just actual production schedule.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in because I am like convinced that they filmed them in like 3 episode chunks.
I know the Dimension 20 stuff, it was at least 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Per sitting.
Because, and I would not be surprised if it was like a day or 2 apart. Because it's, when you're making a schedule like that, getting everyone into the same location is a lot of money. And so getting it done quickly is the best way to do it. It's efficiently planning so that they don't have to like schedule it out weekly. It is doing it like in one big burst. That's just how it works.
And honestly, like, even cutting these kinds down to like 1.5 hours, right? Because you don't want it to be an intimate. I think 4 hours is too much for people to sit down and look at and be like,
yeah, it's intimidating.
I don't have time for that today. 4 hours is a big chunk of my day. But if it's like an hour and a half, people are like, that's still a bunch of time, but I'm about to sit down on this project that's going to take me an hour. So yeah, why not? You know? So that is my content goal, is to make this kind of content in addition to what the channel is already about. In addition to why this archetype is awesome content, in addition to weekly, you know, checking out of new games, or weekly, hell no, not weekly, monthly check-ins on like new game systems, on top of table talk, you know, all that kind of stuff, where, you know, like, you ever thought about like what would it be like to be on the crew of something like what Moist Critical does, or how even like Mr. Beast, you know, like all the projects they work on all the time and all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of project work I think I like to do for the channel. Really get into it, really dive. And if we keep trying hard enough, we can get there, because I think this legitimately could do well. I think enough people are in the tabletop community right now, especially because of Critical Role and everything, that would be very easily digestible content for them.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's a great thing to build for, to strive for. I am pumped to eventually
You
able to
sound
do this.
pumped.
I'm just low energy today. That's all it is.
No, I get you. I mean, it's also sounds like super unrealistic at this time, right? It's like, okay, we're gonna do this tomorrow. Would we do it? And it's like, no.
No,
But
but
like I said,
it's possible. I like the idea of I mean the I think of like making a living off of producing internet content is like a legitimate plan I have, because it's a viable business move on my end. I'm already going to want to be producing content. I've already extended an offer to a streaming thing like in my area. They're my local hobby store is getting back into streaming, and they know completely if it ever their shit starts like actually increasing in like viewership, that they have someone on deck who can help them with production value and like as that sort of business partner. And we have this because I mean I believe at some point this is going to be making a living. So
I do too.
Making money.
I genuinely believe that, at least like it's, but see the whole reason why I've dedicated pretty much my life to YouTube at this point now, like I don't have any other job or anything, is because if I do something with this, it'll be under my own power, and I feel like I have enough gumption to push it into something that's more, you know, more than just what we're doing currently. I would like to, and it's something I'm passionate about too, is the thing. Like content creation, may not quite my passion, but tabletop, that's my passion. And if my work makes tabletop more exciting for people, more interesting, more involved, like I would be pretty content with that. And people love tabletop. Like it's everywhere now. There's so many people, like you can't throw a stone without hitting someone who plays tabletop nowadays. It's crazy. And people are hungry for it. There's so many people out there who want that content, who really want it. And there's so many people out there who would like to watch stuff like live play, right? But they don't, because it's too much time investment. It's not that actiony, or it's not that whatever. It's not good for people with short attention spans, myself included.
Yeah, same.
I want to make content that's great for people with short attention spans. I want to see, and not only that, but like developing my skills. Imagine being the DM for a bunch of players whose sole purpose is to try to make you fuck up by doing weird shit, right?
A fun challenge.
Like, your improv skills would go through the roof. And
I can't
not only
wait to
that,
properly challenge you.
I know you will. I know you're the one in the group at the moment. I'm just like, if anyone wants to do some weird shit, it's gonna be Alex.
Yep.
And not only that, but I feel like I can do that. I can handle that and make the pace of Pathfinder actually feel really, really good. If players are coming at me ready, firing on all cylinders, going like, all right, here I go. I'm going to stride up. I'm going to grab this guy by the neck and I'm going to dunk him into the well, you know. That's a whole combat round. Like, okay, make this check right here. Bam. That's a whole turn done in less than a minute. And that would be, you know, that would be something that I feel like would make the game more appealing and all that kind of other stuff. So it's like, I don't know. That's the intent I have anyway. And I intend to make it as much of a reality as I can manage. I don't know how to get there from where I'm at currently, though. I think that's the hard part, is without capital, it's super hard.
True. Scott's very true.
You know, but that's just why, like, as soon as Twitch starts doing like open broadcasting stuff, you know, where you can multi-stream on Twitch, everything I make on Twitch, everything I make on YouTube, when we start doing YouTube, because again, we'll be at 1,000 subscribers before the summer is over, I guarantee. Everything I get from those platforms are just going to go right back into it, and I'm going to do my best to make that content interesting A good way to do that as well, I think we'll probably just start doing giveaways for a lot of the stuff we do as well. Like, because nothing gets a bunch of people in your chat thirsty for free stuff, you know?
True. That's what everyone wants.
I mean, that's how Mr. Beast made pretty much his whole empire, is just giving away stupid amounts of money to people to get a bunch of people to be like, oh my god, I want to be the next person Mr. Beast gives $10,000 to, you know? And it's worked out well for him. And interesting content, giveaways, good marketing, people who have an idea of like how to make everything interesting. Like, it's a lot of work, but I can't imagine a more fun job, right? It's just like, hey, Alex, we need to get a ring wraith outfit ready for next week. We're going to have Jim over here, and someone's going to tackle him. So I need you to make it, you know, soft, but also make it kind of, you know, like fun enough looking, not like fake. Though granted, having a ring wraith come out with like a giant pool noodle mace also sounds hilarious.
That's possible. I could probably like spring for that and find something. Like if I was given that task now, I could probably do that.
Like, I don't know. Like if this production, I'm curious. We'll end with this idea. We'll end with this thought. But I have a question for Alex here before we end for the day. If I got this whole production going as I have imagined it, right?
Yeah.
Which I've done. I hopefully I've done enough to properly describe the idea.
Yeah, I have a rough like idea. Well, not rough, but like I know what you're talking about.
What do you want your job to be?
Probably production, like a actual production manager job.
Production manager, so making sure everything's like running smoothly.
My job would essentially be making sure that things that are needed, the locations that are needed are there, things are actually in place to start. Like that is something that I've done. I was doing this for the past 5 fucking months. And it's something that I actually like. So essentially, I would be a production manager with a bit of a talent role.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we keep the ball rolling like we have been, you know, a couple years, we might be there. I'd say. You never know. You could get, like, I could get a brand deal and I get like $10,000 in a month, you know? Like,
yeah, well, watch as you get fucking big name streamers like as like friends. This upcoming like thing, you're just gonna hang out with all these people, get those collabs, that exposure.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And wouldn't that be sick, right? If I get this whole ball rolling, make this whole thing like super fun tabletop stuff, and then I start inviting other content creators, like in this community and maybe other communities as well. You know, it's like, hey, I know you said you don't think you like tabletop, but try out how we do tabletop and see how you go. Like, imagine we're just playing and then like friend style Ludwig comes in through the door. It's just like, I'd never tried this nerd shit before, but here I am, so we're gonna try it. You know,
that'd be the most like, I'd have the most like low energy fanboy moment.
Low energy.
Listen, because in general, when I see a person I really respect, my response isn't, holy shit, it's, oh shit, hey dude, I like your stuff. That's always my response. It's very like casual, and also knowing, like, seeing Ludwig, like when he's not like turned on to the content, that's the shit he would do too. It's like, oh hey,
yeah,
that'd be very fun.
I mean, like it's just the thing, right? It's like if we make tabletop look so stupid fun that other content creators are like, I kind of want to try that. Like, that I just be like, well, you know, we could fly you in. It's only going to be like $500. Fly you in, because that $500 would be such a worthwhile investment for some names, just to have them come in and be like, hey, you want to play the craziest game of tabletop you've ever played before? And, you know, like, That's killing two birds with one stone, right? We make tabletop look so much fun. The internet can't stop watching, and the content creators want to be a part of it because it looks like so much fun.
That'd be so fun.
It can happen. It's possible. It's definitely not impossible. I mean, that's what Arcadum was kind of doing in a sense. He was making tabletop look so good, fun from just a pure playing the game standpoint. And if we just turn it into such a fantastical events, kind of like Dimension 20, only crazier. I know a lot of content creators.
It's a hard thing to get, a crazier Dimension 20.
I think we can do it. I believe it's possible. Anyway, I gotta get back to sleep.
I am expecting a phone call from my father. So
that's fair. So we're gonna go ahead.
I told him after 6. I can actually talk.
That's fair. So we're gonna go ahead and end here. If you've been watching me pitch Bad Luck Gamer for the last 30 minutes, thank you so much. 40 minutes probably. I don't even know. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited for where we're going with everything. Obviously, if you've been listening, you have a lot of plans. I have a lot of plans anyway, and I'm bound and determined to make it happen. I mean, again, everything on the channel so far has just been because I've been working at it hard to do so, and just improving is where we're going from here. And I'm going tomorrow for more work stuff. So, I'm determined, passionate, let's just hope that's enough. Thanks to Alex for being here and listening to me. And, because a lot of what I talk about just sounds crazy when you take it in a more serious light.
Yeah. Luckily, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's how content creation is, though, right? You gotta go out there and do crazy stuff that no one else has done before to make it big. That's how a lot of people did it, and it gets harder with more. The longer YouTube exists, the less stuff becomes available. So, and even what I'm planning on doing is not wholly unique, but I feel like we can put a spin on it that other channels haven't been able to do before. So
totally,
that's mixing Moist Critical Dimension 20. I think that is a fun combination. I think that would be hilarious. But if you've enjoyed, please like, subscribe, follow on your platform of choice. We stream on both Twitch and on YouTube. Hopefully soon Twitch opens up their exclusivity stuff so we can actually start doing affiliate stuff on Twitch, getting emotes again. We have had them before, but we opened up to YouTube and it's been doing much better. So it was worth the shift. But I like to have donos. I like to have all kinds of fun stuff. I want to get more active with the community. I want to become more interactive, and that's the direction we're moving. I will have a vlog. I'll be posting snippets of my vlog on Twitter, so you can find me at my Twitter. I'm at the Bad Luck Gamer on Twitter. Gamer without an E though. I should put a Twitter thing on the screen.
That'd be a good idea.
And I'll be posting my vlog and everything I find out about PaizoCon, as well as you can join us in the Discord link down below where we talk all things tabletop. And hey, we might be even recruiting for some of our shenanigans in this Discord. So you want the chance, who knows? Check us out down below. But with that, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.